Night of action we're prepared to witness. Both strapped in.
We invite all of you to follow along via social media tonight. Use the hashtag sacrifice on Twitter. At Impact Wrestling is where you can find us. You can find our president, Dixie Carter, at TNA Dixie. You can see the little ring rat, the little net on the outside. Rockstar Spud will be watching the back of Tirus, more or less providing distractions just like that.
Absolutely, and really that's all he's out there to do, is to be that distraction, to open up that door of opportunity for Tirus, the big man, like he did, as you pointed out.
Drew Galoway down on the outside, and here goes Rockstar Spud going after the ribs and the kidneys.
You know, you call Rockstar Spud a gnat. Well, that's exactly what he is. He's a nuisance. Why is he out there?
You ask a great question, and I don't know the answer. I don't know why Rockstar Spud is out here with Tirus. He said that Tirus is going to be the next world champion. Last week he said that Matt Hardy was going to be the next world champion. We saw what happened to Matt Hardy at the conclusion of Impact last week. And Tirus goes head first off the steel post a couple of times.
W pleasure, W fun. Did Drew Galoway get right there with big man Tirus, run him into the post? And now that fan interaction that only you can get here at the Impact Zone.
You're seeing it up close and personal with Drew Galoway.
One thing about this matchup you gotta look at, which we all know, is that Drew Galoway, his ribs are bruised. And that is always going to be a target point for the big man Tirus.
What does it do when your ribs are bruised? Does it affect your breathing?
Absolutely, it makes it hard to breathe. It's almost like you got a cramp, a Charlie horse up in the rib cage area, man. You can't relieve it.
And it only compounds and gets worse when you're thrown around the way Tirus just threw our world champion.
The harder you breathe, the worse the pain is. Because you have to expand that chest, the rib cage.
Tirus looking to become a new world champion here. Doesn't hook the leg, and a kick out by Drew Galoway. Look at that hard grip there, that tight grip by Tirus on the midsection of Drew Galoway, writhing in pain.
Yeah, it just plays right into the game plan of Tirus, who we have seen on multiple occasions, multiple times. He always targets his opponent's win.
Tirus snatches Drew Galoway off the canvas, sends him into the buckle. See the size and power of Tirus. Drew Galoway, very big man, 6'7", 235, 40 pounds, and Tirus just so much bigger. Cover here, all the weight on Drew Galoway, who kicks out at 2.
And one thing that Tirus does not do, he understands he's a 350-plus pounder. He doesn't try to keep up with his competition, but he looks to slow his competition, his opponents down.
And now Tirus exposing the injured ribs of Drew Galoway. Who will ever forget the night that Drew Galoway became world champion? You can relive that moment over and over on Impact Wrestling's official YouTube channel with over 750 million video views. It's one of the most viewed sports channels on all of YouTube. You can subscribe to our official YouTube channel right now. And look at again, Tirus just standing on Drew Galoway.
Yes, on the lower rib cage.
This is what Tirus did last week. This is how Tirus took out Galoway last week and misses.
A window of opportunity right here. If Galoway can get to his feet, change the tide here, change the momentum in his favor.
Tirus is waiting and watching and stalking and trying to see if Drew Galoway will get to his feet. Tirus misses, and here comes the world champion, the fighting world champion.
Never say die, never say quit, never say never. I'm always there. Twice and better. Look out, go.
Drew Galoway just teeing off now on Tirus, fighting through the pain, trying to dig deep here. World title on the line. Opening contest here at Sacrifice, and Galoway flies through the air and takes down the big man.
Clubbing forearm straight across the dome of Tirus, send him to the mat. Drew's getting that second win. He's calling for that Claymore, partner.
Drew Galoway's got plenty of ways to put away his competition. The Claymore, or the Iron Maiden, or the Future Shock, and there's Rockstar Spud, providing the distraction.
Oh, he should have just...
Tirus with the world title, misses wildly. Galoway with a bulldog in the center of the ring.
He wasn't able to connect fully with it, but effective nonetheless.
And here comes the little net. Rockstar Spud shouted a mean game and an overhead belly-to-belly suplex.
Galoway should have just punched the snot out of Rockstar's nose.
Instead, he threw him all the way across the ring and down to the floor. But it allowed Tirus momentarily to get back into this matchup. And here comes Galoway! Got him! Tirus down! Drew Galoway into the cover, and Drew Galoway almost defended his world championship successfully.
A split second away, the big man Tirus had enough wherewithal to still kick out. I thought it was over, partner.
Me too. How did Tirus kick out? How did Tirus stay alive in this matchup after the Claymore, the running boot by Drew Galoway?
Well, Tirus has been sitting on that gold ticket since Bound for Glory. He knows how important this moment is. You only get one chance to cash it in, and he's trying to make good on it.
Partner, you see the body shot by Tirus. It just, Drew Galoway was just stunned.
And then he didn't just slam him, but he fell down with all of his weight on top of him to make sure that Galoway stays planted for whatever maneuver he's about to go for. We don't see the big man go to the top often.
Tirus is trying to make his way up to the top rope. Oh, got caught. To your point, you don't see him go to the top rope very often. Tirus didn't look comfortable at all up there, and it may cost him in this match.
In this type of situation, though, as I mentioned before, you have to make good. You only get one chance. Tirus realized that, and he's willing to pull out all stops.
Interesting play call by Tirus. Will it come back to haunt him? Here against Drew Galoway, trying to hang on to the top rope.
No.
Galoway looking for a superplex. Oh my!
Goodness, he did it. He suplexed a 350-pounder.
Hand tricked over Tirus, and Drew Galoway was that close yet again to retaining his title.
Pope's not a big fan of Tirus. Everybody knows it, but I gotta give him this just due. He's hanging in there with the world champion Drew Galoway.
Take another look at this superplex off the top rope.
Wow! Yeah, haven't seen anything like that in Impact Wrestling. Only here, man, does that type of stuff takes place.
It's all about the World Championship. Setting the tone, setting the pace for Sacrifice here tonight. Both men back to their feet. Tirus a little wobbly.
Yeah, talk about sacrifice. Both men are sacrificing their bodies right now. They're putting it all on the line.
Tirus misses. Drew Galoway does not. Half a dozen shots has Tirus down to one knee. Oh! Galoway goes low. Future shock DDT.
He connected.
And now Drew Galoway has defended his world title.
Winner of the match,